Tumela Vakaye Sukunjani. To my friends in Botswana, South Africa, Makadini. To my brothers and sisters in Zimbabwe. To my brothers and sisters in Zambia, mwashubukeni kaini mwayikalashani bushubwalelo. Desubila mulifyongutende na ifukwena. Lesale pala tole shimpa. Nitwa imatwalo pita fwenku. To my friends in Kenya, the rest of Africa, and indeed the diaspora, welcome. Today I thought, you know what am I gonna say? And I thought to myself, yeah, it's a lovely day, lovely Sunday, just coming back from church, and the weather is good. And I thought, you know what? We've been touching on a number of things. You know, if you've looked at the series that we are running, how to build in Zambia while you're living in the diaspora, you will notice that we've actually covered quite a lot. We've had a lot of guests on our show that have actually enlightened us on certain things that we need to consider. We had Dr. Charles Chifunda, and he actually touched on what we need to look at if we want to appoint an architect. And obviously the option, it did mention something like procurement of works, and he mentioned something like design and build. And I thought, ooh, yeah. And I thought to myself, what are we going to do? But before I get on to that, hey, please remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and smack that bell so that we can grow this community together and be able to encourage, learn, and motivate one another as we embark on this journey, how to build in Zambia while we're living in the diaspora. So today I thought I need to just touch on some of the procurement methods that are there in the construction industry. Now, when you say to me, what is procurement? So you said to me, what are you talking about when you say procurement? Hey, procurement is actually the process of acquiring goods and services. Now, obviously, when you are buying it, there are a lot of things that you have to procure. You have to procure things like services from consultants, architects, civil engineers, and many more. Surveyors, land surveyors, quantity surveyors. These are services that you have to procure for your build. The next thing that you have to do, obviously, is acquire services, goods and services for your build, materials, labor. These are all items that you have to procure when you are building your homes. So the question is, but how can I do that in construction? Is it as easy as going into the shop and pick up goods or pick up materials and you go to the till and off you go? Nah. It's not. But it's quite interesting when you look at construction. So today I'm going to talk about 3 common used methods of procuring your services. And don't be scared and thinking, oh, what is he talking about? Is this something complicated? Is this, another one of those things that will make me not build? It's not something like that. It's not something like that. No. So I'll start with the first one, a tradition method. This is obviously something that you have been done before. Now, under this traditional method, basically what you do is you appoint the architect, get the design, and you get the contractor. Now, under this method of procurement, the contractor's activities are only restricted to build. So you will get a contractor, and we've obviously looked at the contractors here on this channel. We've had one contractor coming on. So you come with a design and you approach this contractor and you say to them, I need a house. And then the contractor will actually build, give you a price. This is the design. They'll give you a price for build. And You can agree in terms of, so you sign a contract. This is really important. With construction, you really need to sign a contract if you are getting one of those contractors to build for you. And possibly maybe anything that is going to go for a period of time. You need to know what your rights and responsibilities will be as far as that contract is concerned. So you get the consultant, you take the design to the contractor. The contractor's responsibility, as I said, is just restricted to building. And basically any change in design is your responsibility. So you will go there and you tell the designer, the contractor, no, you put this wall on this side, which wasn't there, because when they gave you a price, the price will be based on what you've given them at the time. So anything that changes, as we say in construction or quantity surveying, is going to be a variation, is going to be change. And you basically keep the risk. Anything that goes up and down, it's your responsibility. It depends again on how you agree your contract. We'll probably talk about a little bit about some of the things that you need to look for and make sure that you cover in the contracts as you sign those contracts with the people, with the contractors. The next one that I will talk about is actually design and build. Now, if you remember in one of our series here with Dr. Charles Chifunda, he actually mentioned design and build. And what we say about design and build, basically with design and build, as the term entails, covers basically you approach a designer or you approach a contractor. Now the contractor, what you do is when you go to the contractor, you basically give them your client's brief. You tell them what you want and they will interpret that. Now with the contractor will have all their responsibilities. He will have designers in their company, and so they will basically take interpretation of your brief, put it on paper, they will come back to you and you say that's fine, and they will move on to the next level, which is actually building. And they will go all the way. So you actually as long as you've gone to them, you look at the brief, this is what I told you to do, and they come back and say, there's a design, and then they carry on with the work. You basically don't have so much in terms of involvement. So whatever your brief was, that is what you expect the product to be at the end. And most of the risk is actually carried by design risks and all that. So if they don't comply with the regulations, hey, that's their responsibility. They will have to make sure that they sort that out. So in terms of risk, they carry most of the risks with them. The last one that I will talk about is actually management contracting. Now, you probably might say to me and say, well, I understand what that is all about. And you know what? You're quite right. You do understand. But let me just explain a little bit with this method. With this method, what actually happens is you've got all the designs, you've got everything all sorted out, and you approach a contractor or a consultant. Now, the primary purpose for this contractor is to just manage the actual subcontractors that you have on the ground. So you might have specialist subcontractors doing specific tasks or projects. Now, this particular method is actually very common where you have complex projects where packages are identified. Now, you could say, well, you're talking about packages. What do you mean, packages? Now, packages, actually, let me just break it down a little bit when it comes to a house. Now, you can actually group certain activities that are probably, can be carried out together within a short period of time, or that are identical. For instance, you can break down your house into packages. You could have the foundation up to slab level. That could be a package. You could have the external envelope, and these are the walls up to roof level. That could be a package. You could have the roof. That could be a package. You could actually come into the interior works where you have the floors and the screeds and the plastering. That could be a package. So you could identify subcontractors that will be able to do this. And this management contractor manage his basically job is to manage and make sure that he does the groundwork, make sure that everything is done properly. So you can actually get into contract with this contractor, and you probably say to them, I'll pay you a fee of say 2%, 3%, whatever it might be for the job that they are doing for you. And one thing that I would say with this type of procurement, all the risks come to you. The contractor's job is just to supervise, so he actually takes no risk whatsoever. So if there's anything that happens, that is obviously up to you to take on. Now, I think the last video that I did, a friend of mine who I was interviewing was actually suggesting that he can actually manage the work for you, or if you are in the UK, and this is Kafweka. So the task that he will be doing is actually more or less like managing the contract for you. So that is a typical example of managing contracting. Again, you have to enter into a contract with this contractor, and just make sure that you cover yourself for any risks. Now, I hope you all have enjoyed this quick chat, and hope you are learning one or two things. But again, construction is not that difficult. If we follow the procedures, if we follow all the things that need to be done, you'll find that you'll be able to cover yourself from unnecessary risks that will come. One of the risks that we've identified is obviously, we all know that if you give somebody on the ground to help you who's, I don't know, you find that in the window. So what we can do is, so let's adopt some of these methods, and you will find that we will be able to work smartly and be able to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves, and that is actually building a home back home. Let's be smart. I hope you've enjoyed this quick chat about methods of procurement. And if you are being blessed, and if you think this is encouraging, or if you have any questions about these, please get in touch. And remember to smack that like button, subscribe, and indeed smack that bell. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.